Oh no, not this red light. I'm gonna be stuck here forever. Or maybe not. You know, I still have almost no idea how to start these videos, because I definitely don't have the capability to do an actual intro yet. Until then, I'll be making whatever I feel like to make a decent intro. At least what I feel like is one. So screw it. Until then, I'm gonna talk about how I broke both my hands, my arm, and fractured its shoulder blade. And so that wasn't doing anything bad either. At least nothing that I can think of that could have led up to me breaking all of my stuff. But I don't really want to talk about how I broke my stuff. It's my trip to the ER, which I think is a much better story. So first off, what led me to end up going to the hospital was me basically falling off of a dirt bike. And I wasn't going fast, but I fell in such an unlucky way that the bike essentially high-sided and I slammed all my stuff against the concrete. And I decided to break my fall with my hands, and that didn't go well. When I picked myself back up, I knew something wasn't right, because when I tried picking up the bike and putting it in neutral and pulling in the clutch, it was excruciating. And then I looked at my hand, and my thumb was rolled underneath my hand, and I could not move it, like, at all. My elbow and all the other stuff I didn't notice, but my thumb on my left hand, I definitely noticed something wasn't right. After getting cleaned up, I stood around for a bit and just started to try and move my thumb, and it was not budging. So I said, yep, I messed something up, I need to go to the hospital. I couldn't drive, so my girlfriend drove me to the hospital because, well, I was already in enough pain as it is, and like to the point where any bump I went over, I felt every bit of that. It was awful. But I finally showed up to the ER, and being Corona, they actually wanted to know why I was there, and I said, well, I can't move my arm, so that's kind of a big part of it. They what I actually told them is I think I broke both of my hands, and they said, oh, okay, well, can you sign in for us, please? And I said, I broke my hands. So they said, can you sign it the best you can, which I thought was hilarious. So I proceeded to clamp the pen down like this and scribble what was definitely not a signature. And then next, they asked me to sit down in this waiting room and asked for my ID, which I couldn't give them because it was in my pockets, and I could not reach in my pockets and grab anything due to the broken hands thing. So they had to come over and take out my information from my pockets, and then I just sat down on a chair and waited for my turn. I mean, there wasn't anyone waiting in there, but still, just to sit in a chair with all my stuff broken was an experience I didn't think it was going to be like. But a nurse eventually came over and asked what happened and took some vitals and all this stuff, and it was like a normal checkup at first. She asked where I broke my stuff. I pointed to everywhere where I think I broke some things. At this point, I was getting lightheaded from pain. I told them I was getting lightheaded, and they put me in a wheelchair, brought me over to a bed, and laid me down, hooked me up to a whole bunch of things, made sure my vitals were fine. The doctor came in, asked what happened, asked if I was okay, what was my pain on 1 to 10. I said, ow. The second person who came into the little room or whatever it is was the insurance or pay lady, I don't know. She came in and asked if I had any insurance cards or anything like that, because I had never gone through an experience like this. So the fact that I came in and they almost immediately asked for money was, I think, hilarious. I know she was just doing her job, but that was fast. And all this is happening within like a 10-minute window. They gave me a whole bunch of feel-good juice inside of an IV in my arm, and that helped with the pain a little, until they said it's time for x-rays. So I hobbled out of bed and got into this wheelchair, and they proceeded to roll me into some other room where I had to get a whole bunch of x-rays. On the way there, I passed out. I just slumped over in the chair. And how do I know this? Because I woke up just in the other room. And I asked, where am I? And they said, you passed out and you're getting x-rays. And I said, am I... I guess they didn't care that I passed? I don't know. And they had me do a whole bunch of moves that were more painful than others, like standing up, like moving my arms in certain way. They told me to lift my arms up so they can get x-rays of my shoulder blades and shoulders and all those joints, I guess. And I passed out again. So they slumped me back in the chair, rolled me back to the bed, and I sat there for a little bit. And the doctor came back in, and I said, I guess it's going to be a little bit till I'm back on a motorcycle. And he didn't find that very funny at all. One of the nurses thought it was funny, so I guess that's something. I tried making some jokes to make light of this situation, because I didn't want to just be mad and in pain the whole time, because my process of pain is, it's just pain. It's not going to kill me. So it's a weird way of mentally thinking about it, but that's what helps me get through things that are physically hurting me. Mentally, that's a bit more of a struggle. Eventually, towards the end of my visit, they asked me how I was going to get home, and I said, I rode my bike here. And of course I didn't, but they didn't know that. And they said, that's not an option. I said, don't worry, that's just a joke. But my girlfriend picked me back up. I had another doctor visit in the future, and this is when we're going to fast forward a bit. About a week later, I ended up having surgery and had a whole bunch of pins in my hand to put my hand back together. So my right thumb was entirely broken and dislocated, so that needed to be fixed. My elbow was broken, which is why my arm doesn't go straight anymore, but they couldn't fix that, so I just dealt with it. And my right wrist was broken, my right shoulder blade had a fracture, so I was pretty messed up. But yes, had surgery, and they said it was going to be about a 2-month recovery, and it was. I sat around the house, couldn't use my arms or hands. That was awful. I'm very happy my girl loves me very much, because I could not do a single thing for myself. Besides wipe my ass, which I'm gonna do that whether it hurts or not. So 2 weeks pass, I'm still trying to do things. My girlfriend's hiding my bike keys from me because I'm still eager to get back on.
Think you have any idea how fast I really am? I'm fast as fuck, boy.
And the surgery was weird because all they did was put my hand back together and stuck a bunch of metal pins throughout my hand to try and keep it together and keep my thumb in place while my bones healed. It's not like I could move my hand anyway, it was completely swollen. But they had stuck all these pins in my hand in different ways to keep my bones together. It didn't hurt or anything, it just felt like my hand was stiff for about 3 months or so until I was able to get movement back. But my last appointment, he said, was going to be the appointment where they have to take the pins out of my hand. So I went to the appointment and he said, alright, it's time. And I said, alright, where are we going? He said, oh, we're just gonna do it right here, right in the room. Not waiting room, but the the doctor's office. And I said, okay. And the guy pulls out like a set of vice grips almost and clamps down on them and then just proceeds to pull and twist these things out of my hand. And the only way I could describe what that feels like, it's as if someone got like a string and tied it to the inside of your hand and then just started pulling. That's what it felt like. It doesn't hurt. In the back of your mind, it feels like it's just gonna be the worst thing. But he proceeds to pull these things out and snaps one of them. Then he makes like a small incision where it was, gets another set of vice grip, and then just clamps down on it even harder. And then just proceeds to pull and twist at it until it pulls out of my arm. And all I could do was just look at him and say, yeah, that seems medical. And he just chuckles at the fact that I said that. I mean, I guess he knows that this doesn't seem like the way you're supposed to do. It was effective. I mean, I pulled the pins out, but these are like pins that long. They stuck out of my hand. But after the pins got out, it took like maybe a month for the swelling to go down, and maybe another probably what felt like 4 or 5 months until I felt like I actually got strength back in my hand. And what have I learned? Don't break your bones. For the first time breaking something, and I broke almost 4, maybe 5 things, because I think I broke my pinky too. But thank y'all for watching. I tried to stick to one specific topic today. If y'all have anything y'all'd like to know, please leave a comment and let me know if y'all actually like these videos, and if not, I'll make more. For how bad they are, I still enjoy making these things, and I'm gonna continue until at least some kind of audience gets here, whether that's a common 12 people that I seem to get, or I don't know. And again, thank y'all for watching. Peace.